that are being made on our behalf by those at the helm of affairs. Now, for this particular segment of discourse, we call it Trends in the Papers, and this is for those who probably are stumbling on the station for the first time or stumbling on the program for the first time. It's Trends in the Papers. Now, every morning we make it a point of duty to keep you up to speed with all that have been reported, especially on the front pages of our dailies. Top stories, developing stories, as long as it is something that the papers have thought prominent enough to put on the front cover, we would have a conversation about it. Now, it's not that we just read these headlines to you, and so there is somewhere it started, and with the help of our analysts, we take our mind back to the beginning and link it to the recent development that the papers are reporting. Today is July 10, 2025. It's Thursday, and you know what happens on Thursday? Open Mic Thursday. Now, this is the point of the show, or the aspect of the program where we open the phone line and give you an opportunity to talk about any story that you like. Now, as opposed to other days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday and Friday, where we select the stories that we expand on, but on Thursday we allow you be the one to select. Your ability to express yourself is fully enjoyed on this particular day, Thursday, so it's all about you. But before we get to that, we have to review the stories first of all, which is what we're about to do right now. You can join us on social media. We are at Mainland 98.3 FM. Our frequencies are handled across all social media platforms. On X is slightly different, is at Mainland FM, but on other platforms like Facebook, like YouTube, like TikTok and others, Facebook, YouTube, we are at Mainland 98.3 FM, but on X we're at Mainland FM. Once you put that in the search bar, it would immediately take you to our social media pages, and it's very important for you to follow us on Facebook and on YouTube because it doubles as our streaming platform, which means that you're notified the minute there's a program on air and we're streaming the program. It notifies you to join the program in case you forget, so you can join us and even turn on your post notification, so the minute we're live, the minute we're streaming, the minute we have a post up on our social media pages, you are among the first people to know. Sage Babalola is my name once again. For outside will be joining us via the phone as always as we begin to dissect the issues that we see on the front pages of our dailies. Very interesting things are happening indeed. A lot of revelations, a lot of back and forth, a lot of war of words have happened, and the papers thankfully properly capture these whole things. And so Fuatide will be helping us to break it down little by little as we attempt to make sense of it. He joins us now via the phone. Fuatide, good morning to you. Happy Thursday, I guess, or not.
Good morning. Happy Thursday.
Good morning if you like.
Which one is happy Thursday?
because Friday is around the corner. I told you why I like Thursdays. It gives me hope for the weekend. So happy Thursday and good morning if you like.
Okay, good morning and happy Thursday.
Good morning. Thank you for
joining. Wow, it's good to be here on radio again. Talk to you and our listeners all around the world. Interesting times.
What are you excited for? You are here every day. You are on radio every day. Even on Saturday, you are here. What is the excitement about?
It's always exciting to be on radio. That's what keeps us going. It keeps up for the excitement and passion.
Who is us?
And it's looking permanent.
It is enjoyable, aside from days where it's either too emotional or is intense, or you have to deal with backlash. That's what we're going to open the conversation with. And contrary to the statement I just made, unfortunately, I'm not opening with a very great story. The Guardian is saying EFCC decries mind-boggling fraud at NNPCL. Unexplained wealth, criminalized. The writer to that story, revenue generated NNPCL as the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission chairman Olukoyede yesterday said preliminary findings from a probe of the company revealed mind-boggling sleaze. The Anti-Graft Agency's Offences Commission, ICPC, urged the National Assembly to intensify its oversight functions on revenue-generating agencies, lamenting that many such agencies operate with impunity, saying early discovery from the investigation launched into the extractive industry by the Commission 3 weeks ago pointed to deep-seated financial. Blew his mind because he realized because he traveled to some of these countries. Some people have offshore accounts. Those who work within the NNPCL allegedly have offshore accounts where they move their funds, and so he's trying to understand. Yes, he says that what would help him really is for criminalization of unexplained wealth, because there is some sort of bottleneck with the law. You can only be tried for vacation. They cannot really use the law. But so he says if they go on ahead to criminalize on unexplained wealth, it would the fraud that is going on at NNPCL, and the digger he deeps, the more mind blown he is about this whole situation. Fuad, how is it that for an organization baffle even those who function within the system?
I don't think it baffles those who function within the system.
Are you sure? Why? This man is shocked.
No, he's the one that is saying he's shocked.
Yes, he's very shocked.
I'm sure he's saying he's shocked, and I'm surprised that he's shocked. Because, so if at his level, because again he's worked, almost at the highest level within that within the EFCC. He's telling us that what he has been able to discover in the last 3 weeks. But I'm shocked. I'm shocked too that he's shocked. Because these are things that you don't have to even be a part of the EFCC to know that there's an award-winning journalist, Adiola Yusuf, who is now a doctor. Yeah, and I remember when he told me, because this is a guy who has covered the energy sector for over 2 sectors. You probably get more depressed by the things you see. And in fact, what he said was that, you just lose hope in the process of the nation getting better, Nigeria getting better, what's in the system. I think by now, Mr. Olukoyede should be giving us details of the doors that they prosecute these guys who have been stealing our commonwealth. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. Okay, the information he has given to us. But if he has told us, sorry?
He also tells us that there are some legal bottlenecks. There's only so much they can do.
What are the bottlenecks?
The provisions of the law and how they can prosecute certain individuals. There's only so much they can do.
So they are not able to understand what I'm saying. I've said it that, look, the EFCC are suddenly, and that to me makes it complete.
Well, it's not everything that you understand say. It's not everything that you say.
Talking point for the EFCC. Whereas the big monsters in the room, the big masquerades in the room are there. They are there. We know them. And they know them too. And to come and tell us that a Nigerian owns an entire state in Iceland, okay, you see, that surprises you. See? The level of collaborators in the public, the private sector, it's like a criminal enterprise. The level of stealing. Look, as journalists, some of the information we get, some of them we can't even bring to the public space. I'm telling you, for sake of public level and the local government level, the stealing going on. It's almost as if there's an intention to steal the country dry and out of existence. I'm telling you, it's as bad. Because again, some of these public officials who give us this information for people's money. And the thing, like by Sakot a thief, but the other person I don't like is a thief. And they will begin to rationalize the nonsense that goes on in the public space. So nobody is surprised by what Pastor Olukoyede is saying. We know that who is going to bail the cat? Okay, you want them to create a law that may likely even catch some of them. A lot of them cannot even explain the source of their wealth. They were just asking a minister recently, where did he get the money to be driving a Rolls Royce around? How many of them have been able to explain? Even when they ask what is he, and then Wike will tell you that his father was a general manager somewhere. These are people who have lived all their life in the public space. They've not done any other job other than being politicians. To criminalize unexplained wealth. And you think that will happen? The EFCC, look, if the EFCC is telling us that they are incapacitated, they can't function, they can't do the job, let us know. So, legal impediment. What it means is that, look, the fight against corruption is a joke. That is what it means. And that's why how many these big monsters have used. So it's just a ruse. We are just deceiving ourselves. And then every time they buy Yahoo in the political space, they are there just enjoying themselves. You know what they call like buy Yahoo?
Nope.
So they say you don't know every other thing you say you don't know. They are there in the political space. They are everywhere. Because they know that, again, like Pastor Olukoyede is saying, apart from legal instruments, even the legal system. Yes, lawyers, they know how to stifle the system. They can manipulate the system. It's almost like a lost battle, this fight against corruption. We are only mouthing it. We are not doing anything. Where is Mele Kyari today? See? We were told that some executed. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We did the crude oil swap. We were told that refineries were working. None of the refineries are working as we speak. And the only thing we are doing is ourselves.
As I don't know.
And so why is he telling us, okay, how useful is that information to us now? For knowing sake, okay, the pastor, we now know that it's mind-boggling, the level of corruption in NNPC.
It's an update now. It's an update. He's trying to keep us up. Like, I think that there's a lack of synergy that really exists between the security agents and...
In the last 2 years, have you seen any governor, apart from Yaya Bello? And even with Yaya Bello, it's almost as if in the end of the case, in our reign, the recent time, we talked about the man that went to borrow a plane to deceive us. Where are we on his case? Has it been arraigned? That is
life. Boils down to plea deals because we don't eventually see prosecution of these individuals. Maybe that should.
Because look, do you know the sad part of our reality? See, 10,000 naira from the marketplace. You see how we deal with other people who steal money. A woman goes into a marketplace, for example, now shoplifts. Why are you stealing? You see somebody who goes out to steal wire and all that. You look at the kind of punishment we give to them. For the ones using Biro to move.
Well, that's the report we have. We'll wait for updates from the EFCC boss about the investigation that's currently... I refuse to believe that there's nothing we can do about these individuals. Individuals cannot be bigger than the law of an entire nation. Yes, because that just means that we have become... What's the difference between us and Tarzan? Unfortunately, happens to be the biggest problem that we suffer as a nation. And if the most important agency in our country, if UAE ban transit visas, impose stricter entry rules for Nigerians. The riders, UK plans digital e-visas for work-study applicant. China expand visa-free travel to 7 for Nigerian travelers and banned transit visa applications entirely from Dubai immigration. Now, that's accompanied. For those aged 45 and above, visa applicants must present a personal 6-month bank statement showing a minimum monthly balance to Dubai, a top destination for business and tourism. I don't understand if there was one specific incident that triggered this, because it's not just Dubai, it's Canada that is imposing stricter migration rules. It's the United States. I mean, we get it, we don't know Trump, yes, but then it's we have Dubai imposing stricter travel rules again, although China even went on ahead to open its borders. 74 countries listed that can travel to China without visas. Remember, after the lockdown, China suffered a lot. They lost a lot of money they usually gain from tourism, and so end of strict immigration and travel rules. And I'm trying to understand, is there one specific incident that triggered? I don't think he realizes that. We can hear it.
No, just a minute.
Okay. That's currently on the conversations around the UAE and its ban 45 and above would have to show a bank statement of $10,000. That's a lot of insight. We will read it when we get to mainland focus. We're still looking at the Guardian newspaper. Soon enough, we'll other details of this particular report. Now, according to a statement released yesterday under the new system, successful applicants will receive a secure online e-visa instead of a but if a vignette is not required, they can retain their passport the very same day. Meanwhile, China has expanded visa-free travel to boost tourism revenue. Yeah, we're only halfway through and we've already matched our total revenue of 2024 compared to the pre-pandemic period. We've seen roughly 50% increase in terms of number of travelers, the number of tour guides booked, and overall spending. And that is what the managing director of Wild China Tourism Bureau said. Unfortunately, Africa will understand why we seem to be the primary, should I say, victims of these strict travel thing that tells us it's time for us to start building our own country so that we don't continue.
Moment to deal with some public nuisance.
We heard you briefly. You're asking if somebody is mentally ill. But I was asking the question, why exactly do you believe that, especially at this time, Nigeria seems to be, ask me.
Well, I think our diplomacy is at the lowest ever. It starts with little things like that. If you understand what I'm saying, some of these new heads that we have to deal with. And before I go further, because I was always going to forget, it was supposed to be the story. There's an exclusive report by the Premium Times online on the rot, the corruption bedeviling the CNG initiative of the federal government. A fantastic investigative report on the corruption bedeviling the federal government CNG initiative. Very mind-boggling. If I'm going to borrow the word, results, nothing to show. You know, moving monies amongst themselves, selling CNG kits, you know, setting up proxy. People should just go and be facing now. Because for each of these countries you mentioned, say, are you with me?
Yes, I'm with you.
Is having a lot of problems with Nigerians who come to their country in terms of the way we carry ourselves and behave. If you understand what I'm saying.
Yes.
Some point they banned us from even coming. You know, there were two issues then: the issue of a remitted funds to the Emirates airline, which I think we've been able to resolve. You know, they are trying to check and recheck again. 18 to 45, you must come, you must be accompanied, whether by your husband or your wife. You are being told to have at least 15 million naira. I'm going to be looking at the exchange rate now as proof of funds in your account. So, people of the biggest issues globally. That of the United States of America is called reciprocative, what's it called, visa arrangement. It's based on reciprocity. You do to me, I do to you. I don't know what our rules are. Because what it means is that now for those that go for the B1, B2 visa, that normally will get 5 years and multiple entry. The only thing you can now get is a single entry. And I'm sure that a lot of Nigerians are extremely disturbed about that. Because if there's one embassy you don't really want to go to every time, to say single entry, 3 months validity period, the time we had that issued under Buhari, and somehow diplomatically it was resolved. So I'm hoping that we can also resolve this. United Kingdom has its own situation. It's completely different. I think they are talking for visiting visas, it will still be the state visa. There's now a lot of amendments to the rules. A lot of Nigerians are complaining bitterly now, almost like you started a march, bringing independence. They've been shifting the rules, and now it's become very tough for Nigerians who had traveled to the United Kingdom through that route to be able to get legal papers. In fact, we might see a man not be able to further strengthen their legal status to remain in that country. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Canada too is also coming up with stricter racing. We have to also look at our leaders and see how did you run the country aground to the point where nobody seems to respect us. Nobody now values the Nigerian passport. There was a time in this country where going to the United Kingdom was without visas, visa on arrival. That's it.
Well, for our side, it's sad, really, that this is what we are. And if only we had focused on taking care of our country, maybe those open for you if they thought you were a viable country.
Look at countries like Singapore now. So, it's one of the strongest passports in the world. With the resources God has given to us, with the potentials that God has given to us, should not even. But look at African countries. You're surprised that Nigeria was supposed to take the top position there. It's always at. Even look at BRICS. How did Brazil, Russia, India? I don't think there's any African country that has got solid minerals like Nigeria. About 44 of them. We've got crude oil, the largest oil. The money is a lot of our leaders still that we are talking about. You see one. Look at the person Pastor Tʀᴇ was talking about that went to go and buy a whole estate in Iceland. Countries where people don't really want to go to because of the Iceland. Like what I'm saying is that these guys know us.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's why they don't respect us.
Well,
the only people who seem to give us good image now, and we should continue to thank those people, our sportsmen and the guys in the music of it. Instead, they mess everything up for us. I'm telling you, the kind of image these guys are able to project of Nigeria, people like Osimen and these music guys who are doing fantastically well for the country. But on the other hand, look at what our politicians are doing. Right. You think they don't know us?
It's trends in the papers on mainland 98.3 FM. What we need to do to move forward. My name is Sage Babalola. We've been talking here with Fᴜʟᴏ, analyzing the papers, looking at the Guardian, and have here 2027. Don't underrate Tinubu. Ribadu warns opposition. We have the National Security Advisor commitment to transforming Nigeria, insisting that such critics belong to a past era with outdated ideas and failed records. However, in the opposition coalition ahead of 2027 election and speaking at the National Cybersecurity Conference in Abuja, Ribadu declared Nigeria safer. President Tinubu, let me quote him, let me read verbatim, so it's not like we're changing things every single day. Ribadu says, Niger Delta is safer than ever before. The Southeast progress, he says, what? Yeah, I don't have any questions to ask you. Just react. React to what I read, please.
This is what you've asked called Apple.
I don't have any questions to ask. React to what I've read. Nobody heard me read it.
So you brought the report and you have no question. Okay, what do you want me to say?
I don't know.
Whether you have questions or not, we'll see. Okay, what do you want me to say now?
You be analyst.
Hey, but tell me what to analyze on this one.
Everything you heard, analyze, please.
Sorry, what is...
We're stabilizing the country. Forget what some people are saying. Nigeria is safer and better every single day. Executed. We will not allow external forces to destabilize our progress.
You only talked about the South and the Southeast. What about, again, with Malam Nouri, but with all due respect, I think the president should get him another job. I've always said it here. He is more political. He sounds more political. He's more concentrated on the very side. It's now become more like a psychophant, really. Singing the president's achievements rather than even concentrating on the job he's been given to do as an national president. I don't think, politically speaking, there's anybody that will underrate the political acumen of the president. He understands his politics very well. He understands, the way we like to play. So nobody's going to underrate him. I'm sure the politicians who are also coming together to, take over power from the battle to win, This is President Bola Ahmed Tinubu now. So if there's anybody out there who he understands his politics very, very well, again, whether it's developmental kind of politics or it's...
Again, 20 gunmen raid Agwata local council, kill 4. Igbo group accused Soludo of when Charles Soludo was saying the people that have been arrested for criminality. More than 20 gunmen yesterday for a second time this year stormed Agwata local council, where the Anambra State Governor Chukwuma Soludo hails from. The hoodlum on arrival took over a Ekuolobia community, raiding Soludo's home. About 4 people, according to eyewitnesses, were reportedly killed instantly. A bridge, and they launched attack on the joint security patrol team of the police and the army, as well as member of the state homeland security team in the area, otherwise known as Udo Gachi. They even went on ahead to set ablaze a security vehicle belonging to the joint security task force. Igbo group. An Igbo World Igbo National Union, WINU, have a misguided stance and protect Igbo communities rather than pander to political advantages at any given opportunity, is what they say.
See, again, even denial. When you continue to deceive yourself, this is what you get. And saying the truth the way it is does not in any way undermine the Igbos. We know what the Igbos are, their level of industrialization, hard work. People will tell you that comes with that ethnic group in Nigeria. Very resilient, hard working. They can look for water in the desert, look for ice in the Sahara Desert. This ethnic group. That's why some people see them as the Jews of Africa. So that's the reality. But what we are saying is that these very peaceful, industrious people of Nigeria have now been for the Igbos. We are talking about criminal elements who are disturbing the peace of the Southeast region. Those are the people the governor was calling out. And he has never denied his heritage. Not for once. And whatever community. So, you see, you are calling for equity, justice, and fairness for are the same people you are killing and attacking. Out of extraction. It's not saying the Igbos are criminals. That's not what it's saying. Right. That look, we now have a lot of criminal elements who are lashing on and people who are known basically for business and enjoyment. Make money, they enjoy their money, that's what we've always known the South is for. not for all manner of criminality and killing.
Imagine how traumatizing it will be. You're going about your day and then next thing bullets are flying all around and you're running for safety, people dying, the vehicles of security forces set ablaze, the helplessness and the hopelessness that the security agencies might have felt in that moment, being ambushed at night. But unfortunately, even the daylight cannot stop these individuals. There's no fear that they might be recognized. Nothing at all.
People that stop you from writing exams, that declare
I don't understand.
Stop you from doing their business.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, and something should be done. This is not. I don't think he's casting his passions on Igbo people.
Sons to gold. That's what we know them for.
We appreciate them.
If there's a business nobody can do, give it to an Igbo man. You will see the business thrive. No.
Their entrepreneurial spirit is admirable. Nobody can take
it's unbelievable.
But there are people amongst us, and it's something that we have to accept. But let's move away from that story. Talk a little bit of politics. Delegate party denies zoning tickets to South. Welcomes presidential ambition. ADC stated that the reported tension among leading opposition figures in the coalition-backed African Democratic Congress eBay noted that the leaders involved in the coalition have reached a prior understanding. Leaders who are jostling for space between what Atiku Abubakar, Peter Obi and Amechi says. Ultimately, democracy has worked. It is a delegate eBay says. Fuad, I know you've mentioned it too, that I hope these individuals are ready to concede at some capacity. One person is willing to forget about their ambition for the coalition against their own personal ambition. So Fuad, Polybe is saying the delegates will be the one to decide.
Primaries that will be held. Please, if we're going to go by past experiences of how challenged to this coalition and this new party, ADC, would be masking it, hiding it. But for example, Mr. Peter Obi wants to be president. He's part of the coalition. Rotimi is also part of. So, and then you also see, even at the state level, who is going to be governorship candidate of the party, who is going to be people or whose interests may begin to clash. So, and now that it's going to be one of their toughest battles, and we need to ask ourselves, would they respect constituted authority within the party that can whip everybody to line? Is that they have a president whose interest any troublemaker to line. It's that you leave the party for him or you respect what he wants. You understand what I'm saying? But for the other part, if they're able to do that, well, they stand a chance of being one of the most talked about politics.
Of plotting to suppress legitimate opposition under the guise of national that has been the most focused, transformative in history. And so they're saying that no intention of undermining democracy. They just want what Nigeria describes as a formidable opposition.
He posted that people are coming together to overthrow the government. Well, he's not really a politician. He's just a journalist, and I think he's very thinking his own little imagination. He has thought that, look, there will never be a coordination amongst opposition political. Reality is that, look, the APC is threatening. And that's why Mr. Bayo Ononuga can begin to conjure in his mind that this is like a coup. I don't know where I even bother to really go to speak, to check. But look, whether we like it or not, the beauty of democracy is what we are saying. But what's a democracy without any opposition? It was almost looking like a joke when we started seeing defections upon defections and we're sliding into a one-party state.
Well,
they should be ready for
that it was one person that made Buhari president is false.
I agree that no one individual made Buhari president. It was a merger form of alliance in the South, which he got. So it was few people like President Bola Tinubu, who was then the leader, agents of a lot of work, not just one individual. And I agree with Mr. Mustafa, the former secretary to the government, that it was not just one individual that made
shadow. But we'll be back for Mainland Focus in another 10 minutes.